Good afternoon. Finally, some much needed rain for southeastern New Mexico farmers, but with the rain comes humidity, the perfect weather condition for insects. And that's bringing a whole new worry. Experts are seeing an outbreak of a worm that can devastate farms. Emily Younger reports.
Entomologists are working around the clock, studying insects they say could be deadly to what matters most to farmers, their crops.
Could be a big problem based on two things, based on weather conditions and based on the fact that we are catching cutworm moths. We're catching significant numbers of cutworm moths.
Research extension entomologist Jane Pierce says the recent rainfall near Carlsbad and Artesia is causing an extremely rare outbreak of cutworm moths. Just in the past week, Pierce has collected about 10 cutworms per day. In normal conditions, she says she'd be lucky to catch just one cutworm per day.
You've got moisture, you've got cooler weather, you've got higher humidity.
Which is perfect for thriving cutworms, an insect that solely attacks and kills the roots of alfalfa. Pierce says she hasn't seen an outbreak like this since 2010.
It was like a scene out of a horror movie. There were so many cutworms, and they just devastated some crops.
Graves Farms in southeast New Mexico was one of the lucky hay farms in 2010. But now with the latest research on cutworms, they're prepping for the worst.
It can be worrisome. They, they're a nasty little bug, and they can come and they start at the root, and they can take out a whole field if, you don't control them.
Graves farm owner Andrew Graves says he checks his alfalfa fields about 6 times a year for insect damage like that from cutworms.
So you're just looking for damage of a bite mark, or, of course you can find the worms too.
He has found some so far, but he's been able to prevent any damage. Entomologists say farmers need to check their crops immediately. If they wait until the cutworms are obvious, Pierce says it could already be too late.
Controllable when they're small. The problem is if they let them go and they don't notice it until they're, as big as my finger, then you can't control them.
In Artesia, Emily Younger, KRQE News 13.
Now, they also say the cutworms can be controlled with pesticides, but once the worms are a week to 2 weeks old, they can already cause serious damage and at that point wipe out an entire field.